It was supposed to be a regular rainy evening. Jake Morgan, a struggling single dad, had just closed his small auto repair shop for the night. The storm had rolled in faster than expected, soaking the cracked pavement outside and washing away the dust that clung to the edges of the street. He was halfway to locking the garage door when he spotted something in the shadows near the side entrance: movement. At first, he thought it was just a stray dog or a couple of teenagers taking shelter from the rain. But when lightning illuminated the sky for a brief second, he froze. There, crouched and shivering on the cold concrete, was a woman, clothes torn, hair soaked to her cheeks, and beside her, a little girl clutching a stuffed elephant to her chest, eyes wide with fear. They were both drenched, bruised, and visibly shaken. Jake's instincts kicked in. Without thinking twice, he ran to them. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" he asked, kneeling beside them, his voice soft but urgent. The woman flinched at his approach but didn't speak. Her eyes darted to his hands, then to his face, searching for any sign of threat. The little girl clung tighter to the stuffed elephant, her lips trembling. Jake took off his jacket and draped it over the woman's shoulders. "You're safe now. My name's Jake. I live right above the garage. Please, come inside, just for shelter. I've got a daughter too. She's asleep upstairs. You won't be alone." Still silent, the woman hesitated, then slowly nodded. Jake led them upstairs to his modest apartment: 2 rooms, a cracked heater, and mismatched furniture, but it was warm, dry, and full of the kind of peace money couldn't buy. He gave the woman some dry clothes that had once belonged to his late wife, and wrapped the girl in a blanket. They didn't talk much that first night. Jake didn't press for answers. He just made them hot soup, put on a movie for the kids, and let silence do the rest. The next morning, over coffee, she finally spoke. "My name is Evelyn," she said, her voice hoarse. "And this is my daughter, Ava." Jake nodded gently. "You don't have to explain. You're safe here." But Evelyn shook her head. "I need to explain. Because it's not what it looks like. My husband, he's not a man anyone says no to. He's powerful, controlling. We come from a world that seems unreal here. Oil. Billions. But behind those gates and fancy dinners, he's a monster." Jake blinked. The words took a moment to land. "I thought I had no choice," she continued. "But I finally ran. He hit Ava this time, not just me. I couldn't stay. We left everything. No car, no money, just ran until we found your garage. I didn't know where else to go." Jake was speechless. A poor mechanic who could barely afford rent had just taken in the wife and daughter of one of the wealthiest oil tycoons in the country. For the next few weeks, Jake let them stay. He didn't ask for anything in return. Evelyn helped around the house, cooked meals, and read stories to Jake's daughter, Lily. Ava slowly came out of her shell, finding comfort in the presence of another little girl who wasn't afraid to laugh again. But it wasn't that easy. The nights were hardest. Evelyn would wake up screaming from nightmares. Ava sometimes cried without a sound, hiding under the table when thunder echoed outside. Jake did everything he could to help, even though he was barely keeping the shop alive. His business was falling behind on bills, his landlord was threatening eviction, and now he had more mouths to feed. One day, Jake came home to find Evelyn gone. Panic surged through him, but then he noticed a note on the table. "Don't worry. I'll be back. I just need to face him. Not for me, but for Ava." Hours passed. Then a day. Then 2. On the 3rd day, a black car pulled up outside the garage. Jake stepped outside, heart pounding. The door opened. It was Evelyn. But not the same woman who had arrived weeks ago. She was dressed in power again, shoulders back, head high, a calm confidence in her eyes. Behind her stood a lawyer and 2 armed men. "I took him down," she said simply. "I used the press. The lawyers. Everything. I told the world what he really was. The board voted him out. My name was never on the company, but my father's will had a clause: if he was ever deemed unfit, everything comes to me." Jake's mouth dropped open. You own the company now?" Evelyn smiled faintly. "I own the entire oil empire." Jake was stunned. "Why come back? Why not just move on?" "Because you didn't turn your back on me when I had nothing. And now? I don't want to leave behind the only real place that ever felt like home." She walked past him and knelt to embrace Ava and Lily, both girls giggling in the doorway. In the weeks that followed, everything changed. Evelyn bought out the auto shop and turned it into a state-of-the-art garage. Jake became the official partner and manager. She moved into a modest home nearby, refusing to return to the luxury estates that once caged her. Ava and Lily became inseparable. And slowly, the scars began to heal. Jake and Evelyn never rushed anything between them. But in quiet moments, when dishes were being washed, or the kids were asleep, they began to rediscover what trust looked like. What love could be when it was built on respect, not control. In the end, the story wasn't about oil or power. It was about kindness. A single moment of compassion from a poor mechanic that rewrote the destiny of a woman and her child, and in turn, gave him a new life he never imagined he deserved. Sometimes, the richest hearts come from the humblest garages.